Hey freaks! So, this is going to be a bit of a rant video. It's going to be a bit of a show and tell. It's going to be a bit of a product review, I guess. But it's all about the DJI OSMO. So, obviously this is one of my very early videos. I've only done a couple. And everything so far that you've seen has been shot on the DJI OSMO until now, and now I'm recording on a Canon G7X. So I wanted to talk a bit about this. It's marketed as a camera obviously with a gimbal, so very stable footage, but it's also marketed as a camera that's going to be good for vloggers, for, you know, sticking the camera out at arm's length. So I went for this partly for the cool factor, I guess. I went for it because it looks cool and it's easy to hold because it's in that kind of stick form factor. And I like that about it. It is really comfortable to hold. So the first thing is the focus of it, which starts at 1.5 meters focal length. Unless you've got exceptionally long arms, you're actually never going to be in focus. Now I knew that before I bought it, because everything I'd seen, everybody looked almost sharp. They weren't pin sharp like I am now, but not too bad, and I thought I'll get away with it. I'd rather have steady footage. But you are never in focus. The other thing, as a vlogger, I guess, and other vloggers will obviously be able to confirm this, is you need it to be quick. Turn it on, click the button, and start recording. So, to start using this, let's say something's happening outside and I need quick footage. I've got to take the lens cap off, unlock that gimbal, unlock that gimbal, unlock that gimbal, and then I've got to turn it on. Right, that is technically now ready to shoot, but you may have noticed obviously there's no screen. So the next thing you've got to do is put your phone in the holder, which goes in there basically. Once you've done that, then you get on to the next thing, where you've got to go into the Wi-Fi settings in your phone and you've got to connect the OSMO to the phone, because the phone acts as the control effectively. It acts as the screen, it acts as the white balance control, it acts as where you can focus, the movement. Pretty much every setting, or in fact every setting, is controlled via the phone. So if you want to see what you're recording, you have to connect the phone. And it is impossible to have an instant on connection. Even once you've unlocked all of the gimbals, you can't get an instant on connection. So that's another disadvantage. With a normal camera, you just press the on button, or even some cameras press record and it turns on and starts recording. Next thing is how the accessory system works. So on the side of the OSMO is a pretty cool attachment point, which is literally just a screw insert, and it comes with a phone holder so you can stick the phone in. But when the phone holder is in, you can't connect a tripod, so you can't be shooting handheld with the phone and then want to put it down somewhere. And it also obviously doesn't rest on its own. You can buy an accessory, so you can stick a second accessory, which means it can accept the phone and a tripod, but that means buying the accessory. And then the other thing is, so you take your external microphone, you may have one similar to this, and you clip it onto the phone holder, and then that's ready to shoot. You can rotate with a 360 mount, very cool. But then if you want to put the OSMO on a tripod and record sound, so let's say you're at a table somewhere and you want to record an interview, you need to be able to put the OSMO down, so you need to put it on a tripod, but you also need the microphone, and you can't do all three things. So you've got to somehow take this off, put a tripod on, and then leave them. It's all very complicated, and it all takes a while to set up. Whereas again, with a standard camera, I can leave the tripod mount quick release underneath, clip it off, have it in my hand, or stick it on a tripod in a second. It's all very sort of inconvenient. But the main issue, by a mile, is the audio. So let me talk to you about the audio. On the back of the DJI OSMO, hopefully you can see this, is a tiny microphone hole. They obviously don't work very well on many cameras, but this one in particular just picks up all of the gimbal noise. So when the gimbal is on, maybe you can hear this noise. Kind of just a motor, it picks up some of that. So effectively, the onboard microphone is absolutely pointless, which is fair enough. So they send out this, which I think they started doing soon after they released the product, because they realised that the microphone was terrible. You can plug that in the back there, but it's still rubbish. So then you buy a proper microphone, about 45 quid's worth of microphone, and you can get better ones than this again, and that plugs in the side. And the audio it gets actually isn't too bad. Directionally, it's okay. However, the OSMO itself suffers from inherent audio problems. So it suffers from cracking, popping. So at the start of every clip and at the end of every clip, almost invariably, there is a weird click bleep thing. So you have to edit that off. So if you start talking too soon, then it's effectively ruined the start of your audio. The other issue is that there is so much audio drift. So it starts off perfectly in time, and then a second later it's completely out. And then by the end of the clip, it could be 2 seconds out. And trying to edit that is extremely difficult. Evening freaks, one bus, couple of trains, absolutely chucking it there outside. And frankly, I don't really think it's fit for purpose. You can record almost professional level video, I would say, with the gimbal, but definitely not professional level audio. It doesn't matter what microphone you've got, it doesn't matter what settings you've got, it doesn't matter how you've got it set up, the audio is terrible. So really, as a vlogging camera, I would suggest don't buy the OSMO. It's as simple as that. Don't buy the OSMO for vlogging. Now I'm onto the G7X. They just work, you know, you can just turn them on, click, start recording. Everything's very simple. I won't go into too much detail, or I try not to, but DJI as a company, their customer service is frankly appalling. So they offer a 7-day return policy, but it's only 7 days if you haven't opened the product at all, if it's completely unopened. If you have opened the product, then they don't accept refunds. So I'd had it for about 2 weeks when I decided that I had enough of the audio problems and that they weren't going to be fixed. There was nothing I could do, so I asked to return it and they said no. I spoke to their Twitter support, I spoke to 2 or 3 people within DJI support, and they all stated the same thing, 7-day return policy. I contacted my card company and they're now investigating and hopefully they'll be able to sort it out. But even though I quoted the Consumer Act and the old Sale of Goods Act and that kind of stuff at them, they just simply weren't bothered. So if you've got a problem with your drone or your OSMO, I would say good luck. I would really say try and buy it through a retailer, so at least you can speak to the retailer about it. Buying direct, you're almost going to make no headway in getting a repair, refund. Really, really terrible service. For a company as big as them, to not refund things like this or to sort them out quickly and easily is just ridiculous. And what am I likely to tell people? What am I telling you now? I'm telling you about bad service. The problem is you're much more likely to complain about bad customer service, like this video, than to talk about the good customer service. So DJI, if you're watching this, please do something about your customer service. At the start of pretty much every clip, and almost at the end of every clip,